all my life upon the road. I'm still looking for some gold at the end of my rainbow. Yes, and someday I will find her on the Parkway Blue Blinder. Someday I will find her. Yes, and someday I will find her on the Parkway Blue Blinder. On the Parkway Blue Blinder. On the Parkway. On the Parkway on an autumn day. Yes, and leaves fall like confetti in a New York parade. On the Parkway on an autumn day. Yes, and leaves fall like confetti in a New York parade.
To the Scenic City Sports Podcast on this July the 17th of 2025, and it is hot as blazes outside. So if you are outside doing anything today, please make sure that you keep yourself hydrated and safe. Rusty, Scott, and Rob joining you back in what we colloquially will call Studio X, and joining us.
And happy early birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
To Stump.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
And my dad.
Really?
They shared the birthday.
July the 19th?
Oh.
18th.
18th, yeah.
They shared the birthday.
Somehow we need to celebrate on their
I was
behalf.
going to bring my Stump shirt, High Five North Georgia that we had the last month. And I'm like, no, that's a long sleeve shirt and it's really hot and I'm probably not going to wear that today.
You still have your the last show that we did says High Five North Georgia.
Yeah, that's the shirt.
I thought they were short sleeve.
I thought they were long sleeve.
No, those are short.
Are they short sleeve?
Those blue and white ones.
Okay, I know we got to guess, but I got to throw this out here. I have one of the most awesome baseball trivia questions I've ever heard.
Okay.
I want to see if you guys can get it. So Cal Raleigh is one of the guys that's pretty much up for AL MVP, right?
Okay.
Him and Aaron Judge. It's going to be probably one of those two. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
Who was the last switch hitter to win the American League Most Valuable Player Award? And I can give you the year and I can give you the team.
Give me the year.
1971.
Man.
No.
What team?
Oakland Athletics.
Well, it's not Reggie. He's just strictly a left-handed
Right.
hitter. So the right side could have been. Surely Gene Tennis didn't win that.
Wasn't Gene Tennis.
Wouldn't have been the Sal Bando?
No, it wasn't Sal Bando.
He didn't. He even.
I'll give you
switch it.
another hint. He had a career batting average of 104.
What?
Oh, it's a pitcher then.
It's a pitcher.
Vida Blue.
Vida Blue.
I was. Golly, I was gonna say, it's funny that you say that.
Vida Blue.
Literally this morning after I got up, I was looking for something to watch on TV. Flipped it over onto Paramount and or Prime, and they have a documentary about Reggie Jackson. And I sat there and watched that documentary about Reggie, and Vida features prominently in it. There's a little round table with him, Reggie, and Dave Stewart.
That year, I looked it up. He went 24-8.
Yeah.
With a 1.82 ERA and 301 strikeouts.
Here's what I really want.
And the owner told him that he wasn't going to pay him any more money, and he didn't have to.
But he didn't hit after 1973 because they put the DH in there. But he was a switcher.
I want to know if Coach knew here, our guest that hasn't spoke yet.
Yeah.
Do you know who Vida Blue is?
I don't.
Now we're really dating ourselves.
Well, I was going to say, he's a bit younger than us.
Okay. Well, Scott,
I'm
introduce
old.
our guest.
I'm old. Jeremy New. You've probably heard the name. May not have seen the face, but now you can put a name with the face. Been at Heritage for how long were you the defensive coordinator? 15,
I was a
16 years?
defensive coordinator for 11 years.
11
Wow.
years.
But I've been there 17.
Yeah, you've been there. You were there when it opened, didn't you?
I
Pretty
came
much?
at Christmas right after they opened.
Okay.
Tim's second year.
So you were there with Tim,
Yeah, he
Coach
hired me.
James. Okay.
So he's been there the entire length of the program, pretty much. Now you're the head coach. So let me ask you first thing. What was the moment for you when you realized, hey, I'm the head coach now? I'm not just the defensive coordinator. Was there a moment? Was there a situation where something's like, oh, I've got to make this decision. I'm running things now.
I don't know if there was a definitive moment. It was more one of those things where I think it was like the first Booster Club meeting that we had.
Yeah.
Then I realized, oh, I got to do all this.
What in the world? Hang on a minute. I got to figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's our intro running
It
again.
is, but I can't figure out where it's coming from.
Which I'm sure Facebook will be glad to tell us that somebody owns the copyright
Oh, there
to
we
that.
go. Like, golly, what in the world is going on? Y'all keep talking. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
It was probably the first Booster Club meeting when we made the budget, and I
Yeah.
had to okay, I saw where we were spending, what we have to spend on, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Coach, 17 years in a similar position of, my goodness, you were certainly ready to take the next leap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you're ever really ready until you just do it, to be honest with you. I mean, you can,
But you've seen all the other stuff, and you watched the head coach, two of them now,
Yeah.
two good ones actually. I know them both. That they did their thing, and you got to learn from all that.
oh, without a doubt. I mean, one of the things I think that I stayed for so long is because, to me, I always want to learn, keep learning things, and keep finding new ways to do things. And when you're around somebody like EK and Tim, and you can see how they do things, how they're successful, and you still just pick up little nuggets here and there of a better way to do things, to me, that was why I was like, okay, I don't need to leave. I don't have this thing figured out.
I'm gonna say this: the average assistant, and coming into a DC like you were, the average one that's going to be a head coach, don't stay that long at one school.
Well,
You were there a while.
It's a special place. I mean, I was fortunate that they kept me around that long, for one, and two, my dad was a high school football coach. It's like you said, we were like military kids. Every 3 to 5 years, we're going somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
And my wife grew up in Rome, went to Rome High School, went to college in Rome. She had never left Rome. So,
She ever brag about how good they were?
all the time. But so, she didn't want to be moving all over the place because that was not her lifestyle.
Sure.
And, once you
Okay.
get somewhere like a Heritage, like the community in Ringgold and Catoosa, and you have the school system that my kids are now going through, there's no reason to leave.
I would say this: the only way that, in my opinion, that you would have bettered yourself earlier, whether that would have been some school prominently south of here, but if you wanted to stay in this neck of the woods and you bided your time, which you did, I think it all worked out for
Yeah,
Coach
I mean,
knew.
I had some opportunities to leave for
Yeah.
different aspects. Some college, some other high schools, just didn't work for the family. And we were very happy and excited to be in this community. And we've been here 17 years now, and didn't really have any interest in going anywhere else, really.
Well, good for you. Good for you. One thing I'll say about that, since the influx of Heritage, there's been a lot of support out there. A lot of
There is.
support. Scott gets to see this.
I mean, you literally took my next question right out of
there's
my
just a
mouth,
lot. There's always been a lot of support over there.
It's a great community. They care about the kids. They care about sports. They care about school, and they take a lot of pride in everything they do. And I think it shows in everything we do.
There's
because of
schools
that.
I could take you to right now that you might think that, and you would not see that kind of support once you got there. And,
Yeah.
and that's just different. I've said this many times about a lot of the Hamilton County schools don't have nearly the gates that the North Georgia schools have.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Well, I mean, you can go to Heritage any night from 6 o'clock on, and you're going to see 100 people on campus. They care about the school. They care about the facilities. They care about sports and academics. So it's a very good setup. And like I said, like for my family, it's the best choice.
It's not just football either. I mean, of course, I've been around it since the program started too. It's baseball, it's softball, it's basketball, it's wrestling, it's
Everything
baseball.
has everything shows
There's
up for
always people in the stands. You don't go to a game and there's like 4 or 5 people sitting there or whatever. It's pretty much filled just about every single night.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that it's all beneficial for the kids. Like kids want that kind of experience, and they get it every game.
Probably before you got here, and this goes back a ways, but one of the rec establishments that was the biggest and strongest for the longest of time was the Boynton Rec.
Yeah.
Now things have changed through time, but it had. Frank Seaboat told me this a long time ago, but at one time with girls and boys in the spring, better than 2,100 kids running around Boynton. Now that's been a big spillover into that school that you're at right now, and that's something you might not have known back then, but you certainly are experiencing that loyalty now.
Well, I know when we first started, Boynton did their football games at the stadium every Saturday afternoon, and it was we'd work the concession or work the clock for them, and like you said, there were still a lot of people at rec games, and those kids have just kind of filtered their way all the way through over time.
What's been the biggest, I guess, change you've seen in the football program since you first got there to where we are now?
The expectation. The kids expect to go out on Friday night and win every single game.
Yeah.
The community does as well. The expectation of everything we do being top notch, from what we wear to how we walk to how we act to how we play. Just the standard and expectation has rose from where we started, where we were excited to be able to field a team.
Yeah.
And then,
Bunch of freshmen there.
yeah, and then getting the first class through was a big deal. And then now it's okay. There's a certain level that we have to live up to in every aspect that we do, how we play and everything, and just the standard how it's evolved over the years has been pretty cool to watch.
Because that program went from struggling to win for the first couple of years, and then when that first senior class came through, had a pretty good season that year, and then it kind of fell off again. But now you guys, I think it's 9 straight years you've been to the postseason. I mean, that's a pretty good
I think it was
good
10.
run there.
I think it was 10.
Is it? Yeah.
Wow.
9 or 10,
Because
something
EK was
like that.
11. His first year we had the mini playoff, and then I think we made it every year after
What's the
that.
furthest
Yeah.
the Heritage has made it in the playoffs?
Second round.
Second round. I'm going to take you back to a game that you were there, and I've never seen a ball game where the home field was such a disadvantage to the home team. Y'all had brought in, you had a good team with, what was a quick little kickoff return guy and
Are you talking about Ryan Carter and Grant? And
Grant.
all those guys?
I actually was very fond of that team. It may have been the best team y'all have ever had.
Yeah.
And you come in and you're defending a team, I think, from LaGrange.
Oh, true.
Troop
True.
County.
And it had rained all week.
It rained all
And that
week.
field was disastrous. I'd never seen that field act like that. And y'all couldn't keep your footing,
No.
and they could a little bit better. And I said, I've never seen a home field work out to the disadvantage like it's doing tonight.
Well, Jeffrey Curtis was our run. He was one of our 2 running
Big-
backs that we
big
had
kid.
in the
Yeah.
middle backer.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, because it rained all week, sprained his ankle on Tuesday. And so he was touch and go whether he could even play, and he was a big part of our defense
Yeah.
that year. So he got knocked out because of it being soaking wet.
Do you remember how many times people were just your main athletes were just falling down out there?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I've never seen the home field be a disadvantage like tonight.
Oh, if it would have been on turf, I think it would have been a much better game.
But I've never seen that field,
It usually
Do
drains
that.
well.
but it just didn't go away.
Well, I think because it was late in November,
Yep.
everything was dormant,
Yep.
and it just sat
Didn't
there.
dry up.
It just sat there.
Yeah, that's an old story. That's an old story. Tell us about this year's team. What are you excited about? What do y'all got and what do you think you need to improve it?
We got a lot of guys coming back. I think we got 8 on offense. They're going to have to carry us early. We brought 7 back on defense, but where we lost guys are like big spots.
Important.
So early, I think the offense is going to have to carry us until we can get those guys caught up.
Well, you got a three-headed monster coming back at receiver and quarterback and running back, all seniors, I believe, and all with a lot of stats behind them.
Yeah, I mean, well, Kate, the quarterback's going to be a junior.
Oh, junior. Okay.
Slaughter's son is going to be our running back, and he's put on about 25 pounds of muscle
Yeah,
this offseason.
he is.
Now, what's
he
that
is
boy weighing then?
He's about 215.
Yeah,
I thought he was 215
he is
last
a
year.
He is a big old boy. Now I saw him. I think it was back in the spring,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Good
And
Lord, he's been in the weight room
well,
every
he
day."
carried the ball a lot last year.
He's going
A lot
to
of
again.
carries.
Yeah.
So he's back. Obviously, Cody Bryan's back. He led the state in receiving yards, and that's always a quarterback's favorite target.
Sure.
Colin Fletcher's had a phenomenal summer. The success he had in baseball's kind of carried over. And then we got Caden Foster and Logan Cheatwood are also back, as they were, our third and fourth receiver last year. They're also back.
What do you got to fix? I ain't heard you mention that O-line yet.
The O-line is big.
Is that something you got to come together, or you already got it?
No, they're good. They're good.
You like it?
I like the O-line.
O-line coach?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Who is your O-line coach?
David Gibson.
Yeah, David Gibson.
And
Yeah,
Cade-
used to be at Ringo
and
with
Cade Natley.
Sean Gray. He knows a little bit about O-line stuff.
He does, and we got Cade Natley too. So
Okay.
really happy about that. He was a GA at Jacksonville State the last 2 years. Played at Ringgold.
What
Tight
year?
end.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Tight end, yeah.
Okay.
So we got both of them on the
Well,
O-line.
you stole a Ringo kid.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we got Chase Fleming as our defensive line coach. He was the OC and O-line coach at Ringgold forever.
Oh yeah,
Would you
Chase.
believe him?
Yeah, I knew Chase was over there. Yeah. Well, you just made that rivalry got a little more fuel on it. Which I say this sincerely. There's a lot of good rivalries that we enjoy watching them. Since y'all have grown up, because there was a time there it took Heritage a moment to grow up.
Sure.
Scott mentioned that era.
Sure.
But since y'all have grown up, that Ringo and Heritage rivalry's been big.
Yeah, it's been good too.
It's been good.
The last 5 or
Great
6
games.
years, it comes back. It all comes down
Close
to
ball
a
games.
single score game. Yeah.
You mentioned Jeffrey Curtis, and I just mentioned it's probably and I wrote it when it happened. I said it was the greatest negative 43-yard run in the history of high school football because
How he went and took a knee, didn't he?
well, yeah,
To the
they were up, and it was like, okay, we got to punt it away. There's like 10 seconds left. It's 13-9, and you don't want to take a chance because the field was kind of muddy that night. And
Well, we
and
didn't want to kick to Tarver.
Oh yeah, that too. And I remember saying to somebody like, "You're going to kick to him." I said, "No. Here's what's about to happen." I said, "You wait and see." I said, "They're going to snap it to Curtis, and he's going to take
Who
off
made
the other
that call?
way."
Go ahead and take credit for it.
It wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you.
Chris Height was the special teams coordinator.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened.
He actually told EK, "Hey, we're going to punt this thing. Get ready for defense." EK walked away. He told Jeffrey, "Hey, take off running. Don't stop until."
You're telling
until
me the
horn
head
blows."
coach overruled the coordinator, but silently did it.
He did.
He snapped it, and he spun. I was like, "Here it goes!" And he took off, and you could see him kept looking up at the clock, and he's trying to like slow down. And he got across the line, and ran out of the end zone, and went to zeros.
Well,
and like
what's
13-11
what's our
ball game.
special teams coordinator thinking at that point? He's not following the game plan.
Well, he told Jeffrey, he said, "If you get tackled, you're dead. Whatever you do, don't get tackled." He said, "Sprint to the end zone, and then if you get tackled in the end zone, it's fine."
Okay.
But the O-line is really big. We got Josh Castle. He transferred in last year. He's a South African kid. He's about 6'6", 280.
He's only that big.
He's a big
He looked
kid.
a whole lot bigger in uniform yesterday. I'll be honest with you.
He's a big kid. Then the right guard is Kane Romano. He's about 6'3", 260. Baker Capehart's the center. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 245, 250. The left guard is Landon Wooten. He's about 6'3", 270. And then the left tackle right now is Paxton Reed. He's about 6'1", 250. So,
Well,
like those guys.
that's a credit to this pregame meals that y'all are offering these kids. I mean, obviously they're, I remember talking to a Hamilton County coach a long time ago, and I won't bring up who it was and even what school it was, but he spoke about. He said, it's really tough for my kids to grow when their best meal of the day is right here at school.
Sure.
He says and I gave thought to that. I thought, you're right, Coach. I mean, that is a big factor in kids growing and being able to eat properly. And some of these schools, not like y'all's school, obviously, a lot of barbecue sandwiches being passed out there. But that's another part of how much support y'all have down there too. I don't care if you ask for somebody to give them 5 meals a day; they'd probably show up.
We'd find a way to get it done.
It'd be there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'd find a way to get it done. But offensively, we got that, and then the biggest weapon that I think we're blessed with that nobody in the state even has is Jake Collette. He just committed to Texas.
My goodness.
He's a game changer as a kicker and a punter.
Oh my goodness. Let me bring this up. Last year at Ringo, y'all set up to kick a 50-something yard field goal. I'm over there with Scott. And I said, what are they doing? He says, well, he's got the leg. I said, Scott, look where he's at. And I mean, dadgum, if he didn't have the leg,
he just pulled it.
He just pulled the thing. I thought,
that kick would have been good from 65.
I
mean, it was halfway up the upright.
I don't see too many people line up for a 56-yard field goal. I mean,
and then he made a 56-yarder
in the fog. He
in
couldn't
the
even
fog
see the
against Daresville.
Well, where was
see him.
Tennessee and Georgia on this deal with this kid? Were they wanting him, and he just chose Texas?
They were showing a lot of interest, but Texas pulled the trigger first. He went out there, had a great visit, and he said it just felt like home from the beginning.
Okay.
He's ranked number
He's the
2 in the
second-rate.
state.
He's the second-rate kicker in the country.
Yeah.
Well, that is a weapon, Coach. And a big deal is when you can kick off and that ball's in the end zone.
It's going to be every time.
That is so big than what we see some schools have to do.
Well, and today at practice, he's got the ball in the 50. And I'm like, Jake, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to work on this field goal. Watch this. And he made it easy. I'm like, that's 60 yards.
That makes you feel confident when we're in that predicament.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Heritage these last few years. It's not just kickers, but the long snappers, too. You guys, Anderson Britton, I know, went on to play. I think he's still playing in the Army. And Washburn's snapping, and Jay Williams is snapping in Alabama. Washburn was at Georgia. I mean, Heritage special teams has really become a place for Heritage to hang its hat.
Yeah, I mean, we've been really blessed with kickers and snappers. And it's a game changer, man. Like,
it is.
When you can flip a field or you can make an offense start inside the 20, like, that's a big thing.
That is big. There would be a statistic out there that, teams that can kick the ball in the end zone and they have to start there versus the teams that don't have that leg. The stats and how much difference they are. You're defensive coordinator.
I think it's 85%. If you have to make them go from their 20, you have an 85% chance of them not scoring.
I mean, you being on the defensive side of the ball, you had to love that field possession a lot.
Absolutely.
Hey, take us through your coaching staff. You've got some great guys that have been on that staff. I just want to hear their names mentioned.
So Jonathan Eves is the offensive coordinator. He stayed. He was with EK for a couple of years after Jake Ledbetter left. He took over. So he stayed on as the offensive coordinator, receivers coach. Corby Wilson is the quarterback coach still. And then Tanner Nance, who's also played for us for a long time. He does H's and tight ends, and now he's also doing outside backers. And then we got Cade and Gibson are all the O-line. On the defensive side, Chase Fleming does the D-line. Wilson Benefield does the inside backers. And then me and Jacob Steele do the DBs.
I didn't hear you mention my boy from Ottawa.
And Brian Simpson does kickers.
The one that helps you on your running backs.
Oh, Blake Foster is the running back. I went right over
Blake,
the offense.
I'm having to pull your name. One of the best running backs that ever come through this town. I'm having to pull your name out of your head coach over here. Now, if he'd been on your team, you'd been turning around and handing it to him about 35 times a night.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was used to.
Oh, yeah.
Does he ever give you any of those proud moments he had over at Ottawa?
He doesn't do it much. You have to pull it out of him.
Really?
You do.
Well, he don't do that one around me. I mean, that's the first thing comes out. He almost said was it a state record, Scott, or a national record?
He had a state record for a while, and then they lost it
Ted
the next year. They played Central the next year, and Michael Valentine beat it. It was 300 and.
Well, he could have had the record that night, and Gatewood didn't know where they were in that. And he pulls him out like 15 yards short, and he could have had it It might not have lasted but a year, but he could have had it. All right, so we mentioned his name. So that staff pretty much stayed intact.
Yeah, I mean, we lost obviously EK, and then Chris Hyatt and Austin Alexander and Jesse Fisher, and then we got Kate Daly. So we're a smaller staff than we were last year. We're all doing a little bit more than we did previously, but a lot of quality guys.
Okay. Scott, what's next? Now, you left the defensive side of the ball. You said there was 7 of them coming back. Now, I know you're going to keep your hands over there and meddling in that.
No,
I'm
still on that.
No, you ain't going to walk away. Tell us what's coming back.
Brody James and Cody Bryan are at safety. Caden Foster, and then Cohen Fletcher, Logan Cheatwood are at corners, those 3. Braden Hudson's coming back inside backer. Cooper Chapelier's coming back from a knee injury, so we're hoping to get him back soon.
That Chapelier name, wasn't there a woman down there that was a
She's a dance coach.
dance coach? Is that same
yeah.
family?
Yeah.
Okay.
And his daddy played at Gordon Lee, I think is where Josh played.
Possibly.
Old stumping
Possible.
question over there. So you got to put.
We got 2 new outside backers. We graduated. Travis Faulkner and Noah Pierce were 2 outside backers last year, so we got 2 new guys this year. And then defensive line, we're blessed that we play about 6 guys on the D line, so we've got most of that rotation back.
You've got some running in and out, and you just mentioned something. So many teams feel good about what they're going to put out there, but then they say, "Boy, I hope nobody gets hurt," because the depth's just not as where we would like it. How do you feel about your depth?
At the end of spring, that was one of my concerns. I felt really good about the first wave of guys, but we've overemphasized depth this summer. So we're not quite where I want to be yet, but we're a lot closer to it.
Well, this game of football sometimes will send you a couple of bumps, unfortunately, and you lose a kid. It may just be for that week. It may be for a little bit longer, but it's amazing how bad we miss that spot when somebody comes out,
Absolutely.
particularly if we don't have depth.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, like I said, we've really tried to rotate as many guys this summer to get them ready. And I feel like we're almost there with some guys, but we still got a ways to go with some others.
I think I saw your schedule the other day. You start out with playing, if I remember it correctly, a lot of non-region games, and then you get into those 6 ball games, I think. What are you hoping to come out of those non-region performances heading into the main part of that schedule? Because there's some tough teams in that.
I mean,
non-region.
it is rivalry
about it.
row back to back to back. I mean, we start out with Christian Heritage, who's traditionally really, really good. Frank Barton's their coach. He's been around forever. He does a great job with them. And then we get to LFO.
The Warriors.
Then we go to Ringgold, and then we go.
You go to Ringo?
No, I mean we got Ringgold,
Oh,
and then
they
we
come to
got
y'all, okay.
yeah, and then we got Gordon Lee, and then we finally get an open week.
And Gordon Lee's bringing back a good squad
Gordon
too.
Lee's bringing back a good squad. LFO's bringing back a good squad. Ringo's got some guys that are coming back, so it's not going to be easy games. Then you get to a region that, I mean, I think top to bottom, I mean, it's pretty bunched up, except for maybe you got a state champion in there,
Yeah.
but we won't
Yeah,
have to worry about them for a while. But I mean, obviously, everybody's chasing Calhoun. They won a state title, but where do you think you kind of fit in right now?
I mean I think the entire schedule from Christian Heritage on, like if we don't come out playing well, we can get beat by anybody. If we play well enough, we can probably beat everybody. It's just one of those things where it's such parity between our entire schedule that you got to be ready to play every single Friday night, or you're going to get beat.
Well, and Coach, so many times, when and this hasn't been y'all's world, but when a school is searching for some wins and they get off to a bad start, but yet some of those wins might be on the schedule later, but you just don't have the interest or the enthusiasm to play the way we need to. So coming out of the gates, even though it's non-region, a lot of rivalries like you talked to, I think your kids will be up for those games just like they would be up for the region games.
Yeah, now we're fortunate in that we don't have anybody on our schedule that we can just show up and win, and they know it. They know they got to come ready to play every game. And when you start the rivalry games right off the bat, it's like you're in region play, playing for a playoff spot right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's that kind of feel.
Especially with only 6 region games. I mean, you lose one, okay, you lose 2, and now you're really behind the 8 ball. Even with the new point system,
Well,
you've got to. All
that's
those
even
games
more
are
of a
important
factor.
too. Yeah.
Even the non-region games factor now. Before, you didn't have to worry about the non-region games because they didn't factor in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now every game you have is factored into you making the playoffs and what slots you get, and it's definitely, it makes every game mean more.
Yeah.
Well, let me an example here. Help me out if I say this wrong, but a single A Gordon Lee, a win for them is big against y'all for their sake, but a loss to them against y'all's sakes also not helpful on that
No,
on those
absolutely.
numbers either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It goes both ways. I mean, like you play those games because they're rivalry games. They're good for financial reasons. They're good for the communities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all really, really strong teams that get you ready for region
Yeah.
play.
And it might be to your benefit this year that those at least those 3 right around here. I mean, are teams that are expected to have really good seasons. Because we know that formula, it's like your wins, your opponent's wins, and your opponent's wins.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams, and if they win 7, 8 games, something like that, I mean, that just helps you guys
It
out.
does. It helps your power ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Besides
has
you-
that,
go ahead, Scott.
how has that changed the way you guys coach and approach certain games, knowing, hey, we can't hold back here because this win counts just as much as this win?
Well, it's not even that. It's the points differential. So, like, sometimes where, okay, you may be up 21 in the third, late in the third, and you're like, okay, let's start pulling guys.
Yeah.
Well, they close it to 7 or 14.
That matters.
It matters in your point
Mm-hmm.
differential, so you have to leave guys in longer than you really want to.
You like that? You like that, oh?
I don't
because what you just said. I'm up. I pull some guys out for the right reasons, but yet now we've give up 10 points and it was the wrong move.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's the risk reward, right? Like, you want to get your guys out to where nobody gets hurt in quote unquote meaningless play when you're up like
Right.
that. But then if you do and you give up some points, like, it hurts you in your playoff season.
You don't ever be Coach Booby Miles and leave the kid out there at the last minute up by 40.
Yeah. I'm not
Always
gonna do
remember that.
I'm not
Always
gonna do
remember
that.
Booby Miles.
I'm not going to do that, but at the same time, like, that does factor into it.
Sure.
Like,
So
you
that's
can't-
why I asked you, do you like that point differential
I don't.
click in that?
I don't. I
That could
think
be removed, couldn't it?
it would have to go through GHSA.
Well, right, and that
But-
would take forever.
I don't like that because I think you're forced to leave kids in when you would want to take them out to protect
For
them,
the right reasons.
just to where it doesn't affect your playoff seeding.
And now the state's actually everybody's going to that point system. It's not just the smaller classifications now. It's going to be all the classifications.
I think that's got too
Well-
much elevation
Well, they
to the meaning
want
of
the
the
best
cause.
32 teams in there.
I understand
because
that.
in years past, I mean, we've had teams literally get in the playoffs at 1-9. I remember an 0-10 team made the playoffs one time. Had no business being
Okay,
there.
but for somebody to run out there and just run up the score 65-0 just to prove that needs to be on the schedule numbers wise, that's silly.
But
too.
you never know, because if you get, I think they're still going to give like the region champs. They're going to see them first. But we had a few games last year. If you're the number 1 team out of a weak region facing a number 4 or number 5 seed out of a very strong region, sometimes those region champs didn't win. And I think that's what I like more about this system, is that we truly have the best 32 teams in the state in this classification playing, and we don't have teams that shouldn't be there.
You're coaching in one of the absolute premier states of high school football. I mean, there's a handful that we could mention, but Georgia's in it.
Sure.
Okay. Your thoughts about how good you really do have to be to keep moving on down the ladder, and it's one thing to make the playoffs. It's another thing to keep clicking on down the tracks.
Sure. Man,
Staying at home's big.
it to me, it's about matchups. Like, if you get a good matchup, and I'll tell you what I mean by that, but if you get a good matchup and a favorable matchup, not necessarily by who you're playing, but the style they play,
Style. Okay. what's conducive for y'all, matching up with what they
Yeah, I mean, like in years past, we typically have been smaller on the D line. So a team that we get in the playoffs, like last year, we played one of the biggest teams I've ever seen in Southeast Bullock.
So if they want to run the football at you, that becomes difficult too.
They had like a 100-pound advantage everywhere, and so
That
we
looked
held
like,
up.
that looked like a college team out
We
there.
held up for a long, long time, and then eventually, like, we just gave out.
But
And
you
then-
see that in this state.
It
Those
does.
premier teams come with size and talent.
And then you play teams where they want to play spread football and they want to do, different things that are more conducive to what your kids can do physically. So, and I'm not like, I think matchups matter in the playoffs. You watch it at any level. Like, this team lost to this team, but they would have beat that other team on the other side of the bracket.
I've seen that. Sometimes, no disrespect to, but you can get to the state championship, but maybe you weren't really the second best team
Sure.
in the state. You were more like 5 or 6, but the way your path took to get there allowed you some success.
Yeah, and you got to get lucky that you're injury free.
Absolutely.
You got to get lucky on your matchup. You got to get lucky on
All right.
all that.
This is what I was going to ask you a minute ago. New coach, although you've been there 17 years, kind of hard to say new. New coach, what's going to be different about this? What's going to be your mark on this team that might be different than what you've been used to? What Heritage has been used to? Because you got a balanced offense, you can run it and throw it. So don't no hide there.
No.
We know what you got. But what's going to be different about this team now that you're head coach?
I'm a little more aggressive than what Coach Slaughter was. I want to continuously put pressure. I mean, the way that we play defense is we're a pressure-based defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to take that mentality in offense and special teams.
Okay.
I don't want to just,
I used to call him Air Slaughter many years ago because he slung it all over the field every game. I did notice over the last few years that you got Cody out there getting a bunch of yards, but y'all wanted to run the football.
Well, it was
seemed
more
like-
of what's the defense going to give us and what can we take advantage of. With Cody, he demanded double teams, which meant we're going to have a lighter box. So we're going to run it against a lighter box. And then once they were like, okay, well, we got to stop the run, that's where we take our shots over the top. But like with Jake as a weapon, we're going to be aggressive with that. And then offensively, like, we want to put a lot of pressure on the defense to get in the right calls, the right checks.
You're
and all
talking about
that.
a backbreaker. Somebody holds them to the 50-yard line, and they run out the kick,
and
the
Jake
field
goes out
goal
there, hits it
kicking
from 60.
thing, and they give up 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's a legitimate thing.
Somebody
I
over
told
goes,
Jake, when
"What?"
we cross the 40, you better be ready.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't get that kind of weapon around here very
No,
often. They're
Baylor
good.
McCauley's had some big kickers.
Calhoun, had
Yeah, but
Griffin that could kick.
y'all
and-
had
and
more than
few-
one.
Yeah, we've had a run of 3 or 4, and they've all played college football.
Yeah.
Not as big as Jake, but they've all played college
He's a
football.
little bit bigger kid than they were too, if I remember correctly.
He
on
is.
some of them.
He's about 6 foot, 185 pounds.
Well, I tell you, when that ball came off his foot, and I looked at Scott and I thought, what?
Well, I'll tell you, that highlight we put on our page that night, put it live.
It did. He had a lot of hits.
And he missed it.
He missed it.
And we still had, it was like 6 figures in views. And people were like, well, I know he missed it, but good night.
Yeah.
He knocked down the hamburger guy over there at the concession stand.
And of course, a couple people, from where they were from, because it kind of went viral, and they're like, well, "Why are we showing a kid that missed a 56-yard?" I'm like, look where he missed it.
Yeah.
It was halfway up the upright.
Your team lining up for a 56-yard one?
I said, oh, and by the way, he made a 56-yarder the last game of the year to help get him in the playoffs. So
You've
yeah,
always
he's
brought the
legit.
troops down through the crowd.
Yep.
That stay.
Oh, absolutely.
Not changing that.
No.
You get booed if
That's
you
one
did
of the
that,
best
Robbie.
entrances.
Tim started
They were
that
around.
his second or third year, and we've done it ever since.
Okay, so you recognized something good when that was
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. You didn't
No,
want to
we're
mess
not
that
changing
one up.
that.
And talk
Gotcha.
about, just it seems like everybody now is trying to make it like a small college atmosphere when
Sure.
you get out there. You guys, you come down through the crowd. You got the fireworks. You got the smoke. You got the fireworks when you score.
Yeah.
You
You need
with
a
the
bigger
band's
scoreboard.
playing.
And one I can
that-
read
that's-
from
that's-
your side.
I'm sure the jumbotron is
We'd love
being
to have
ordered.
one.
Just Talk about the atmosphere that you guys are trying to create on Friday night.
Well, we're trying to make it enjoyable for the kids. I mean, they put in all this work for the entire year. We want them to have just the best experience they can have. And then piggyback to the community, because they've given so much to it, also let them have a great experience. And we've been fortunate that every idea we've had, we've found a way to do it.
Ain't got nobody in the room trying to shoot those ideas down. They're saying, what you need, Coach?
No, I mean, just like we've got Buffer. He did a bit for us.
Yeah.
And as soon as we break through the paper, as we're coming out for kickoff or return to open the game, Buffer's going over the loudspeakers. So, it's just stuff like that every idea we have, we find a way to make it happen.
I'll give you an interesting thing I heard once. I guess I'm compelled to tell you where I heard it. South Pittsburgh. And pre-game, they allow over the loudspeakers a former coach speech in the locker room, play for the crowd. And I've never heard that done at another school, and I thought, I love that idea. That's firing up the crowd before they ever even kids ever get on the field. They're listening to the coach and they're give that fired up speech.
They do that in all the colleges now too.
Do they?
With all the pregame stuff, the
Okay.
hype videos, they'll be out there and do all that.
Well, South Pitt's where I heard it, so I never heard it in high school. But I thought when I heard it, I like that. I really do. They had to bleep him out a few times. But
I was about to say you could get in trouble with that, depending on the coach
or where you're at.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at. There you go.
Alabama plays Coach Bryant before the game, doesn't it? I mean, they have. Yeah. I'd say they probably have to bleep a little bit of that out.
I'm sure.
Well, there's always somebody going to be soft up. I know that made somebody mad. There's always going to be somebody soft up in the stands that can't believe that the coach said that, but that's not my style. I want to hear him say that. I want to hear him fire that team up.
Let me ask you this, because we've touched on a lot of people in the coaching staff and the players and stuff. Talk about your wife and your family. Being a coach's wife is difficult.
It is.
And I know that firsthand just by knowing all these coaches all over the years and the late hours that you work and
and where they sit in the
coming
stands.
up here today at 4:00. I know your day's been busy already, so we appreciate it. Just what has she meant to you and being your rock and
her
that
name.
support?
My wife's Deanna.
Deanna, there you go, Deanna.
Man, she's been amazing. When I first interviewed for the job, I asked her. I said, "Is this something you want to do?" Because she knows it's a lot more on her. Even though she's been here for 17 years, it's a different feel now.
She's the new first lady at Heritage.
But she's been awesome, man. She gets it. I've always probably worked too many hours, just because I'm kind of a perfectionist and I want to get everything done and I want to do it right, so it takes more time to do it that way. But she's been great, man. I think I called her the other night and I was like, "Hey, I got to cut this other field. I won't be home till about 8 o'clock tonight." She was like, "Well, just do what you got to do." But she's very selfless. She does everything for our kids and still puts up with me and all my shenanigans.
Yeah.
And she understands to strategically sit in certain spots in the
She
stand.
sits on the hill in the grass. She won't sit in the stands.
Okay, because you know where I'm going with.
Yeah.
Sometimes people let it be known, Coach, who made that bum call?
Yeah.
And there might be somebody close next by that takes offense to what you just said.
She sits in the hill by the grass by the visitors' locker room.
Okay, all right. Well, she's picked a good spot.
Yeah.
That there was a rumor, and maybe you can put this to rest. And the Sims family were tremendous for Heritage, and that field's named after them, and the sod and all that. And then I heard the rumor that y'all gonna get turf. Is that a rumor, or is that just is that something that we probably not going to do?
No, it's something we're working on for
Okay.
sure. It's a big bill, so
It's a big deal.
we're working on that.
It's a big deal. But if you can go back and show footage of that Troup County game,
Oh, I've got it. I
there might
promise
be
you.
some people that say we need turf.
Yeah. No, everybody really wants it. The administration does for various reasons. I mean, not just football, but like soccer. You've been a soccer on that field. It's
Soccer's
not
terrible for football fields.
well, I mean, everything's dormant. So
It's
unless you
terrible for football
overseed and you do all that kind of stuff, it's just a mud hole.
Well, I've not met a football coach yet that was happy with the soccer team pounding on his football field in the spring.
We got plenty of time to fix that. It's just not good footing for them. It's not good footing for anybody once it gets wet. But
My freshman year in high school, we weren't allowed to have home games in soccer on the football field. We literally traveled every game we played that.
Yeah, well, the Warriors were, somebody in administration was drawing a line there with, this sport matters, that one not so much.
It was the head coach who's no longer there, and I don't think he's with us anymore, but yeah, he did not want that field messed up. We're like, come on.
Well, more football coaches would be appreciative of that guy.
Well, then the next year, they're like, okay, you can use the field again. The first game, I'll never forget, we're going to be playing Cleveland, and it rained for a week.
yeah,
And it's literally stopped about 4 hours before.
And y'all
we got
gave
to
no
play.
consideration of going out there.
5 minutes into it, there's no turf left. It's all just mud, and we were slipping and falling, and there's ruts and everything. I'm sure the coach is like, oh my God. No.
Ringo did not, back before they got turf, and this goes way back in time, Ringo did not like the fact that there was a 350-man band standing out there on Thursday night pounding on that turf that they had to play on.
I mean, any movement on that field, a lot of bodies, it will mess up the field. But I remember when Ridgeland got it, when they finally got turf, and they had their meeting about it, and they're like, look, we can, for the same price, we can fix the problem on the field, and we get 20 events a year on it, and that's it. Or we put turf down, and it's unlimited.
Well, if
They're like,
any field, I don't know if you ever saw when Ridgeland's field just fell apart, just absolutely. They had no other answer but to do that. But the good news is when you go to re-turf it the second time, you ain't got to come up with as much money.
It ain't much different.
I think it's $500,000, and I
Gordon
think
Lee's was as bad as Ridgeland's was. You remember that one year for the playoffs, they had to bring the helicopters in to try and dry that field before they played their
well, and Coach just alluded to it. When rain sets in late, there's not enough heat.
Nope.
To get it well, and so you're going to pay the consequences.
In this area, we will get rain. I mean, we will get rain halfway through the season, even towards the end of the season.
And I think y'all, I know what you just talked about, that injury in that game. I think y'all were as good as that team was, if not better, but just the conditions of that night just did not play into y'all's hands.
no, it was just a bad night for us. I mean, I think it was a 7-0 game at the half, and then we were just hanging on, and kids, like you said,
nobody
they
could
kept
keep their
falling
foot.
down. They kept falling down. And we had 2 corners fall down, though, that made every play.
Yes,
And they literally
absolutely.
fell down and got a touchdown over their head twice.
And Grant was so great about bringing kickoffs back. He's falling down out there 20-yard line, and I'm thinking there's one of their greatest weapons in the field slant. Prior to the season, who are we scrimmaging? And
We're going to be at Findlay August 9th against East Hamilton, 5 o'clock.
okay.
So we got that. It's a Saturday game, which is a little worrisome before you kick off on a Friday. It's a quicker turnaround for the kids.
I'm sure you got a game plan of how you're going to let some kids go so long. And
Yeah, we're going to limit a lot of kids just because of that injury factor and the quick turnaround.
I was going to try to see if I could pull up, because they sent out the schedule for the Jamboree.
well, let me just say this: you going on that field at 5 o'clock? Well, good luck when somebody says, well, it's 142 over here.
It won't be as bad as it
y'all
would
can wait
be.
around.
It won't be as bad as it would be like back when they would do those games during the middle of the day. That year they did one at 1 o'clock.
They did a Howard Tyner. Howard
Brainerd Howard.
Scott covered it.
Yeah,
He
his
lost his
flip-flops melted onto his
flip-flop.
feet.
Yeah,
up there.
literally parts of my shoes were flaking off because our cameraman got over there, and I'm
it's
standing
nuts.
up against the wall in this little square of shade. He's like, "Why aren't you on the field?" I said, "Go out there." He shot about 2 plays.
I remember Stump saying, "You gonna go down there with Scott?" I said, "Scott can handle this."
Scott's got that.
It was Darius McDonald. He was Mr. Football for Howard
yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
And we were going to interview him afterward, and we went in the locker room, and I'll never forget, he had his pads off, his jersey off, and he's literally laying on the concrete.
Because it was probably cool.
And he's
'cause it's cool.
like, "You're going to have to give me a minute." I thought we were going to lose. The trainers were having to get ice water on the towels because the kids were wearing patent leather shoes and they couldn't get the cramps out because it was burning their
And
hands.
Scott, was that
He
right?
said he lost 15 pounds that night.
Was that right
believe it.
before they came up with the heat factor and we just play that game?
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Well,
Yeah,
games-
there
They played
wasn't
at
a wet
12
bubble at that time.
they played it at
That
12
came later.
noon.
Yeah.
And
Well, in
that was the only
games,
time
they
I
don't. The wet bulb doesn't matter when you play a game. They just add breaks in. So they'll cut your practice because of the wet bulb, but your games, we're gonna get the games in.
And I learned something a few years back. Bo Campbell and Charlie up there at Lakeview. Y'all have got to send to the state what y'all did in practice, and so that they can relate to whether the temperature was certain at that time. Take us through that, because I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah, you got to keep all your practice plans for the entire year, and you're only allowed so much time for live practice. So you have to specify what you're doing at that time, and then the trainers keep up with the wet bulb. And they have to check it like every 15 minutes or so and record it.
You delegating that to somebody?
The trainer does that.
Okay, trainer.
But the practice schedules you have to keep all year, and if they at any time if the state comes in and says, "Hey, we want to see your schedules," you have to have them all.
That one caught me by surprise a few years ago. I didn't know y'all had to do that. And does Tennessee have to do that?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay.
Here's the schedule for the Jamborees. They're coming up starting Friday, August the 8th. 6:30 Walker Valley versus Ringo. 8:30 Warren County out of Tennessee against Dade County. Then on Saturday, 5:30 Heritage versus East Hamilton, followed by Tyner versus Hickson at 7:30. Those are going to be 4-quarter scrimmages. And then the Jamboree, if you want to call it that, on Friday, August the 15th. There's only going to be 4 matchups, and they're an hour apart, so I don't know if they're going to play 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes, because, in years past it's been 15, 20-minute scrimmages.
I doubt
and
whether
that's
they
it.
do 40 minutes.
Sale Creek versus Marion County at 6:30. Whitwell versus Silverdale at 7:30. McCauley Tyner at 8:30. And South Pittsburgh versus Hayesville, North Carolina, coming into play at 9:30. So, like I say, a shorter schedule this year, but still going to be a whole lot of football to be played. Basically 4 full games.
A few years ago, Heritage went up to Bradley. We covered that game. Boo Carter was playing for Bradley. I like the idea, but I know how schedules get tight, but I like the idea of the North Georgia schools matching up with some of the Bradley counties and the Chattanooga schools. Your thoughts on that?
We played East Hamilton for 2 years.
That's a good matchup.
And then we played Bradley 1 year. The problem is they're on a different schedule cycle than us. So somebody is going to have an open game 1 year. And so that's the only hang-up we've had with it. But we would love to have more non-region game, border wars, and all that kind of stuff.
It's great for the fans, too.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for
Yeah, man.
taking an hour out of I know it's been a busy day. I was over there watching some of the flag football. I saw you guys out there practicing again, but good luck this upcoming season.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
We've got, 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks from tomorrow, and you guys will be kicking it off.
Getting ready for it.
Yeah.
Football. You come out of school graduation, y'all do a little work, you get in the dead period, and all of a sudden it's here again.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't have much time to rest. I don't know when you got a vacation yet.
The 4th of July week.
4th of July, you called that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But football gets on us in a hurry.
It does.
I love football to get here, but I wished it was backed up a few weeks because of the heat factor.
At one point, they had talked about bumping it back past Labor Day as the start day, and then it just never came to fruition. And it's all related to when can they get. Now it's the bins, and also pushing it back further into basketball.
Yeah, the other sports, I realize. I realize that all together, but again, when you coach football, you watch football, you play football. It ain't designed to be in 102 degrees.
No.
If we can get it a little cooler, and just waiting a few weeks could do that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I
you
mean,
don't get to.
The 7:30 start. I don't know when that started. When I was in school, it was an 8 o'clock start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It changed probably about 15, 16 years
And
ago.
did that
something like
happen mostly due to maybe travel considerations? Some, here, there.
Yeah,
At
possibly.
an 8 o'clock start, the sun's almost down. It's dropped dramatically in
Yeah,
temperature, and
it
it
has.
helps because the first 30 minutes of every game, first 2-3 games, are brutal.
Now, Rusty can bring this one up, and I know we're going to let you go, but there was a long, lengthy storm, Lakeview.
First game of the year last year.
Well, this one was at Heritage, and
Oh,
y'all
no,
finally
yeah,
came
yeah.
back
Yeah,
out,
no,
and you
that
finished the
was on
game
a
at 2 in the morning,
Well,
I
that was
think.
Saturday night.
No, that
was
was
a
on
Friday
That
night.
was
yeah,
a Friday.
that was a
yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
That one got done about midnight. But
Yeah.
the one last year, I was on the
That was
football
Lakeview
field.
Ridgeland.
Lakeview
They got it in
Ridgeland.
Friday. We
We
played Saturday.
finished up
Yeah.
at
2:07.
2:07. Yeah.
I'll never forget
Yeah.
looking at my clock going, what am I?
Yeah, that was
what are
us
we
Christian
doing
Heritage
here?
last year. We
Yeah.
banged ours until Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's sad that those things happen, but they happen,
Yeah.
particularly early in the season like that. Congratulations, Coach. We wish
Thanks,
you
man.
well.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. That's going to do it, I guess, for another episode of Scenic City Sports Tonight. Want to thank Gary Thacker Insurance.
And all the All-Star sponsors.
Yeah, all of them. Bit of golf news.
Yeah, we got
Harris English.
I was going to say we got a local boy. Harris English right now shot 400 today, so he is tied for first in the British Open.
The Open.
Yeah, exactly. The
It's
Open.
the Open.
They don't like for you to call it British Open. It's the Open. Yeah.
A Red
yeah.
Raider.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So guys, we'll see you next week. Keep abreast on Scenic City Sports on Facebook. We may change showtime next week. Knowing that we want to get some of the coaches and stuff on for the upcoming football season, it might be a little easier if we do it on a weekend day or something like that, if it's easier for somebody's schedule. So we'll keep you guys abreast. We'll let you know. But appreciate you being on with us, Coach. Thanks for being on with us. We'll catch you guys next week.